Jaguar Wright literally told us a couple months ago the next person that was going to go down with Diddy was going to be Jay-Z, and she has been standing on their neck for a year.
Have on tape, he taped everything. He taped everything and taped everybody.
How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly?
We might finally have the missing piece behind how Diddy kept slipping away from every accusation like nothing could touch him. People are whispering that he used the same dark tricks that saved him back in his 1999 case. Blood sacrifices. Now things are starting to feel eerily familiar, and folks who once stood beside him are reportedly getting nervous, checking their mirrors like they expect Diddy to pop up behind them any second. Especially Jay-Z. And that's where it gets wild, and because Jaguar Wright says this whole thing runs way deeper than anyone realizes.
Fuck, I'm wondering where we going. And as we going towards the boathouse, I look in the distance, and it's this man in all black. He's in all black. And he turns, and it looked like he had the white collar. I couldn't be sure. I couldn't be positive. But it looked like he had the white collar, because Puff said, yo, Gene, stay right here. And I stayed right there, and he kept on walking. So when Puff get directly to the dude, he gets down on his knees. When he gets down on his knees, this man takes something, and it seemed like it had smoke in it, and he started doing it around Puff.
According to her.
And then he went back and forth. And then he went up and down with it, sideways with it, then back around him. And then he put it down. And then he put his hand on Puff's head, and I guess he started, saying something. I don't even really know what he said, but I couldn't tell what he said. You understand what I'm saying? Long story short, I see Puff reach into this case. And when he reached into this case, he came out, and you could see something white in his hand.
Both Diddy and Jay-Z are standing at a crossroads.
I didn't know it was a bird. I didn't know what it was at first. But he threw it up in the air. And when he threw it in the air, the shit came straight back down like it was a brick and said, pow, on the concrete. And I was like, oh, that was a dove.
That could flip the entire hip-hop world upside down. Behind the private jets and designer suits, there's allegedly a quiet war going on. Loyalty versus truth, image versus exposure. Sources say the pressure is closing in on Diddy behind those prison walls, and he knows it. The only way out might be to drag down some of the biggest names with him. And guess who insiders think could be at the top of that list? Jay-Z himself. But Jaguar doesn't stop there. She's warning that the so-called sacrifices connected to Diddy's empire are only just beginning to surface. And when the full story explodes, it'll make every past scandal look small.
I keep saying Puffy. Diddy gets to get out, be with his family. They didn't really railroad him like they did R. Kelly.
Isn't that interesting how I've been saying that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Since 2022, I've been talking about acceptable monsters. Hand-selected, hand-picked. Tell me something. How does R. Kelly's music get snatched off the radio and Diddy?
That Jay-Z won't be able to stay silent about his connection to Diddy. And baby, she wasn't lying, because Jaguar Wright was just on Piers Morgan exposing the out of Jay-Z. Jaguar Wright was calling out Jay-Z for his silence, saying that now he's gonna have no choice but to talk because he has connections with Diddy, R. Kelly, Epstein, and Harvey Weinstein. She also said that she has victims that have video footage of these freak-offs and what they do to people, and she said that she saw what Jay-Z and Beyonce were allegedly doing to people. Jaguar Wright even said that Jay-Z is the one that allegedly set up R. Kelly because he knew everything that he was doing and he was doing the same shit. And she said that Jay-Z is the one that funded surviving R. Kelly because his best friend for years is Dream Hampton. And baby, she wasn't lying. Jay-Z and Dream Hampton have been friends.
To really understand how it spiraled to this level, you have to look back at when Diddy and Jay-Z ruled the rap game like untouchable kings. They weren't just rappers, they were the architects of an entire era. But power like that always comes with shadows. And now, those shadows might be ready to talk. Jay-Z had Rock Nation and Diddy had Bad Boy.
Write it all off as weird sex stuff. But it's another thing when you look at it for what, in my opinion, I believe it actually is.
And what is it?
Demonic, ritualistic behaviors, humiliation rituals, offerings to the devil.
We were just talking about that. Revelation 17, the mystery of Babylon. I don't think people really want to get into that when they talk about mystery Babylon and the abominations and the rituals, the sex rituals, the traffic to the traffic jamming.
I mean, we all know the saying that they have out here, right? They say that the music industry, the film industry, Hollywood and all that is the devil's playground.
Two massive empires that didn't just shape music, they shaped culture.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. What about you? Leave it in the comments section. Let's talk about it, but let's also continue.
The selling of your body, all that stuff, mystery of Babylon, y'all.
Like, I want y'all to really think about what they were talking about. See, everybody was, the spreading of bodily fluids from one person to another, using one person as a receptacle, and then taking it from that person's body and then putting it and smearing it all over like these.
From how people dressed to how artists measured success, these men defined the entire vibe of an era. Their parties were legendary, their loyalty seemed unshakable, and the bond between them looked bulletproof.
Have definitely been like an undercover CIA agent like Jeffrey Epstein. I watched that in a video or something. And it's possible that he came in the game young, because I heard that a story of Gene Deal saying that Diddy had to go meet with the feds. He don't know what it was about, and it was in his earlier part of his career. I wonder if he could have been working with him for all these years. Who knows? Let's talk about it in the comments, but we're going to continue.
SEX magic. Sure enough. Yeah, Jay-Z, yeah, he wear.
But according to Jaguar Wright,
I got dragged for bringing that to people's attention. They were like, oh, yeah, he's a conspiracy theorist because he said, I'm like, no, that's what he wore. And he was with Abramovich. Like, yeah, y'all got to, who you hang with is who you are.
I'm still trying to understand how people want to sit there and talk about me, and he's sitting there.
That so-called loyalty wasn't built on brotherhood.
And people don't question.
And the funny thing is
do as thou wilt. Yeah.
The funny thing is when you talk about witches, and I'm still not going to go in on this this raccoon of a content creator who decided to shout you out one minute and then try to drag you for going on a platform and saying you said about witchcraft takes one to know one, and he just automatic you a witch. So the thing is that's another smear campaign, your credibility, and then they go after your.
You want to know what's
funny?
I don't
want to say religiosity. What is it?
What is what?
No, I'm saying they go after your credibility.
It was built on secrets, dangerous ones, the kind that could blow everything up if they ever slipped out. Now, Wright claims Diddy might actually save himself if he decides to start talking. Really talking.
Tried telling us about Jay-Z and Diddy and nobody believed her. I remember her very first interview years ago saying how Diddy was a trafficker, and everybody thought she was crazy and everybody ridiculed everything she had to say. Well, now does she seem crazy? What I love about Jaguar Wright is watching her time and time again get vindicated on things that she says. Like, it was so crazy back then that nobody wanted to believe it, but now that we are seeing things come to light, how crazy is it actually? I've always been the type that can't stand when people are called crazy because the things that they are saying are hard for a person to believe. This doesn't make a person crazy, and these people wouldn't be saying these things for no reason. We watch it happen time and time again.
She's saying that if he ever decides to snitch and expose what he knows, it could take down some of the biggest names in the industry, including his old friend Jay-Z. But here's where it gets chilling. Wright keeps bringing up one name, Kathy Karna White.
With these situations, just like Cat Williams, just like Michael Jackson, just like Aaron Carter, and even Kanye. I really feel like in 2024, everybody has woken up and seen that all of these people saying this throughout the years, they're not crazy. They're not saying all of this for no reason, and it's something that I've known for years. Jaguar Wright literally told us a couple months ago the next person that was going to go down with Diddy was going to be Jay-Z, and she has been standing on their neck for years now. She's even talked about Jay-Z's alleged relationships with younger people in the past, such as Aaliyah, such as Foxy Brown, such as Rihanna, and
She actually died screaming. And the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress,
According to her,
because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand.
Kathy was allegedly Jay-Z's mistress, and she was reportedly pregnant with his child. The story turns dark fast. Wright says Kathy died just 24 hours after revealing she planned to go public about their relationship.
That Jay-Z's camp basically put out a statement saying that Jay and Puff are not friends and they're not close at all or whatever else. Did you see the two of them interact a lot?
I seen them interact, but I wouldn't say they was close. I believe Puff felt they was close.
Oh.
But if you was a person on the outside looking in, like me and Uncle Paulie used to always talk about it, me and D-Rock would talk about, yo, why Puff kind of like sucking Jay off so much? You know what I'm saying? Because you'd be like, we done flew to 5 or 6, 7 different concerts that Jay-Z has. But Jay-Z is not at one of Puff's shows. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Rock brunch where Puff will break his neck to get to the brunch, but Jay-Z don't pop up at any of Puff parties. You know, now I can only speak up until 2012. You know what I'm saying? And Puff was breaking his neck. Like, at the end of the day.
And Wright doesn't think it was some random tragedy.
In our mind, we say, yo, he ain't even invite Puff to his wedding. When he married Beyonce, Steve Stout and all of them was there. You know what I'm saying? And Puff was kind of in his feelings, but once again.
Oh, Puff was upset he didn't get invited to the wedding?
Of course he was.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, we're security, so we're bottom on a tote pole. So he's not going to show you that it really affects him until you have a little conversation with him, or you say something, or you overhear something. But he didn't get invited to that, you know. Yeah, Jay came through every once in a while. Like if we was in a yacht in San Tropez or one of these places like that, Jay might ride up, you know what I'm saying? And it's more or less to show, yeah, I got a yacht too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm out here too. More or less than we're tight friends. I look at it as two people that's getting money because they did have some businesses together. And we did have to go to some meetings together.
She flat out claims that both Diddy and Jay-Z know what really happened.
And it was like, this is how far it goes, but we're not friends. You know what I'm saying? Like people ask me that all the time. I be Jay ain't really with Puff. It was no personal into it. It would be like if Ron Burgos is flying from LA on his jet, but Jay-Z just so happens to be going to New York too. We all end up on the jet flying back, those type of things, but nothing to go out his way into. If we in a club, you might be downtown at bed or something like that. Jay-Z might be there. So they end up at the same table, you know what I'm saying? And it was times where I listen to the records now where Jay-Z said, yo, why should I drink Ciroc when why should I drink Grey Goose when Puff got Ciroc?
She even hinted that Diddy could spill it all if he ever decides to work with investigators. But the question is, will he? Their so-called friendship already started cracking years ago, and fans caught it early.
This is something new that just started happening because I remember we almost got into a big altercation with Pecos and them because...
With Sean Pecos?
Yeah, because Puff was there and Jay and them was there and they had a bunch of Grey Goose bottles come to the table. And Puff felt like, yo, that was disrespectful. And he knocked over the Grey Goose bottles, you know?
People noticed when Jay-Z didn't show up for one of Diddy's biggest events. And later, Diddy skipped Jay's too.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him. And so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened.
Cornered in the way that he's been now, that he may start revealing things about other people?
He has no choice. His ego and his addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy. He's got everybody on tape. They all know it. It's a mess. Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back.
Those little coincidences didn't go unnoticed, and in a world where silence screams louder than any diss track, their missing appearances spoke volumes. As the tension between them grew, people started realizing that what looked like mutual respect might have just been mutual fear. Rumors began spreading that Jay-Z started distancing himself once Diddy's secrets got too heavy to carry. But by then, it was too late.
Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. Because my videos are being heavily suppressed. You know, I gotta read you guys this. It's funny. It's like they really want to corral everywhere I go and who I talk to and what I say. Oh, hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I don't have it in here. I sent myself the wrong one. No, that was a long. Oh, but then there is this. Oh, did you see this? Have you seen this?
Oh.
Yeah. Jaguar Wright, almost unalived by Diddy's hitman.
They were both already knee-deep in the same mess. Jaguar Wright insists that behind those closed doors, Diddy wasn't just a friend. He was a gatekeeper, the one who knew where every skeleton was buried, who did what, and when.
Noah Jacob, TV. I shouted him out once before. I guess they paid you real good. You fake Christian piece of crap. Bearing false witness. You call yourself a Christian? Bearing false witness, you stupid little kid. Because if you think I'm not going to come after your platform, and if you think I'm not going to make sure that everybody goes to your platform and report you for the lies you told with your AI evidence video that you put up.
Yeah.
Do you know what the video said? That number one, it said Diddy's hitman, but I thought Diddy and Jay-Z wasn't.
Puff Daddy's still Puff Daddy. He's not going to be able to do none of the stuff he was doing before, though, as far as business-wise.
Look, Puff Daddy and Jay-Z were considered peers at one point. Now, Jay-Z and Diddy are not talked about in the same
Jay-Z
sentences.
got the fuck away from that shit fast.
And that's exactly why Jay-Z's been moving extra quiet lately, staying away from anything that could connect him to Diddy's chaos. Industry insiders are whispering that Diddy has a vault, real or digital, full of receipts, photos, messages, and recordings that could flip the whole industry upside down. And if the rumors about those sacrifice tapes are even halfway true, then what Diddy's holding on to could end careers, destroy legacies, and even land some people behind bars.
Kanye, and I know some of the people around him, it's like Kanye can no longer do a lot of things he could do before.
Like what?
He can't tour in Europe. He can't tour in America. He has to go to like China, South Korea, like Brazil. There's only a few places in the world that'll book him. He can't even go into Australia. Like Australia said that the Hail Hitler song got him banned to even enter the country, even though his wife is Australian. He wasn't even trying to perform. They wouldn't even let him in the country. Listen, you start doing songs like Hail Hitler, you become a symbol of hatred to the world.
That's like one of the worst people you could ever try.
You know, I interviewed the dude that wrote that song, Dave Blunt's. You know, the big...
Okay, what's that? Write this song?
Nah, well, he performed it though. I mean, it's still his song. But yeah, no, Dave Blunt's wrote it. He also wrote the cousin song, the one about giving his cousin head. And I asked him, I'm like...
So who's this guy? Who's this guy that wrote the songs? Is he...
Dave Blunt. He's like the sick...
But here's where things get even scarier. Jaguar says the feds already know about that vault, and that they've been working on decrypting its contents ever since the raids on Diddy's properties. And according to her, if those files ever see daylight, Jay-Z won't be the only one sweating. She claims half of Hollywood will be running for cover once the truth comes out. Fans are already connecting dots. From Diddy's old music videos to weird social media posts from years ago, people are convinced that the clues were always there in plain sight. They just didn't realize how dark the message really was. And now, with Diddy supposedly facing major pressure behind bars, the question on everyone's mind is simple. Will he finally open the vault and take everyone down with him? Because if he does, this could be the end of more than just an empire. It could expose the entire foundation of hip-hop's elite. Their public smiles told one story, but behind closed doors, it was pure tension. Those handshakes and photo ops couldn't hide the cold distance growing between Jay-Z and Diddy. And now, Roger Bonds, Diddy's former head of security, is spilling tea that's got the industry shaking. He's hinting that what we saw on camera was nothing but a perfectly staged illusion.
They only got Puffy because they wanted these tapes. What do you think is on these tapes?
Bro, you got to realize you got people like Prince Harry. Prince Harry was at a Diddy party. You got some of the same Universal executives. Diddy made it cool for I'm just gonna say it like this, man. Whites to hang out with the hood dudes. Dude from the hood, he made it cool and safe for them to hang out with the white executives. They used them for that.
Meanwhile, Jaguar Wright just refuses to let this story die. She's been calling out both of them for years, saying Jay and Diddy are the common thread in some of the industry's darkest scandals. Wright even compared them to figures like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, R. Kelly, and Diddy himself. According to her, all those names have one connection: Jay-Z. She claims he's the mastermind who always stays clean while others take the fall. And that's exactly why she's convinced that Diddy might snitch to save himself. Wright swears that if Diddy ever decides to talk, the first person he'll expose is Jay-Z, the man who, she says, has been silently pulling strings from the shadows. Now, whether you believe Jaguar or think she's just chasing headlines, one thing's for sure: she's reignited one of the most explosive debates in hip-hop history. How much truth is buried beneath the fame, fortune, and forced smiles? But here's where it gets even wilder. She's not alone anymore. Even Eno, another industry insider, stepped in saying the craziest part about Diddy's downfall isn't the charges. It's how fast his so-called friends vanished. Especially Jay-Z. He pointed out that people forget these two were once equals. Two street-bred moguls who came up together and ruled the game side by side. Now one's locked up and the other's ghosting him completely. That's silence? It's got people wondering, is Jay-Z protecting his brand or protecting himself?
They used them enough, whereas that now you got white executives doing Diddy-like parties. Remember the dude from, Frantic? The clothing line, the sports line? They was mad because they didn't get invites to his party because he was doing white parties, doing parties like Diddy. Now, I ain't talking about the freak-off party part of it, but I'm just saying, he was doing those parties, and everybody, there was rappers, or I think Stephen A. Smith said something about he was upset that he didn't get no invite. So it was those parties that everybody wanted to be at. So Diddy have on tape, he taped everything. He taped everything and taped everybody.
When things started crashing down for Diddy, Jay-Z moved fast. Real fast. Industry insiders like Bino say Jay didn't waste a single second cutting ties once the walls started closing in. It's like he saw the storm coming before anyone else and made sure he wasn't standing anywhere near it. Even though there are dozens of photos of the two of them together at events, parties, and award shows, Jay suddenly started acting like Diddy was just another face in the crowd. People noticed the switch up immediately. The man who used to call Diddy brother now talked about him like they'd only met twice. Bino explained that Jay made one thing clear: this wasn't about loyalty, it was about survival. When Diddy's name came up, Jay's cold response was basically, "We've crossed paths, but that's about it." No emotions, no loyalty, just pure business strategy. He knew staying too close could ruin everything he built, especially with the feds breathing down Diddy's neck. But here's where it gets messy. Jay might have escaped one fire only to land in another. People are now pointing fingers at him for allegedly protecting himself by handing over incriminating info on Diddy. Word on the street is that Jay's name has quietly popped up in conversations about known FBI informants. And fans are starting to wonder if his sudden distance from Diddy was more than just good timing. One name that keeps coming up is Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation. Everyone in the industry knows her past. She cooperated with federal agents years ago in a massive drug case, and that's public record. So when you think about it, Bino says it's wild that someone with that history ended up running Jay's empire, especially for a man who built his image on street credibility and loyalty. To a lot of people, the whole situation reeks of federal hands all over it. And they might not be wrong. Even Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, claimed that this case runs way deeper than what's being shown to the public. According to him, Diddy isn't the end of the story, he's just the beginning. If those claims turn out to be true and more big names start dropping, that would mean one thing: less competition for Jay-Z, especially when you consider how his business empire keeps expanding alongside Beyoncé's. Some fans are convinced Jay's been quietly positioning himself for years, watching his rivals fall one by one while his brand stays spotless. But others think karma might finally be catching up. Because let's be honest, this wouldn't be the first time Jay-Z distanced himself from a friend to protect his own empire. The man moves like a chess player, always thinking 10 steps ahead. Insiders are saying the feds might not have enough to touch him yet, but if Diddy decides to talk, things could get messy real fast. It took investigators over a decade to collect enough dirt to corner Diddy, so if Jay ever ends up in their sights, it might be years before anything goes public. By then, he could be an old man, sitting back watching the empire he built either stand tall or crumble from secrets he thought were buried forever. So what do you think? Is this just another industry power play, or is the truth finally catching up to hip-hop's biggest mogul? Drop your thoughts down below, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and stay tuned because this story is far from over. See you next time.